So Sony's WH-1000XM series is generally their flagship lineup of, active noise cancellation headphones. And this one is the Sony WH-1000XM5, the latest in their lineup. And flagship active noise cancellation headphones are second only to truly wireless earbuds in terms of popularity. These things do sell out really fast. So last year when Sony introduced the WH-1000XM4, that was a very minimal upgrade over the preceding WH-1000XM3. The naming scheme is really terrible, so I'm going to be calling it XM4 and XM3 going forward. Anyway, the XM5 itself is kind of a substantial upgrade over the XM4, and let's talk about that in this review. If you don't know me yet, my name is Ershad. You're watching Trakin Tech English. Let's review the Sony WH-1000XM5. The first immediate change that you will notice is, of course, the design of these headphones. The aesthetic is far more minimal and modern looking in nature and looks better than the preceding WH-1000XM4. However, there are some functionalities you'd lose out as a result of the new design. So firstly, it only folds flat, so it cannot fold up entirely like you could on the WH-1000XM4. Which means that the case now is much bigger as well. It's a nice case, no doubt, but it doesn't fit in my slim backpack that easily. There's another fundamental problem of the design, and it is when you're not listening to music and you wear your headphones around your neck, they don't close up entirely like this. They don't swivel completely flat. Which means that if you want them sitting flat around your neck, you'll have to change the orientation. And that's kind of odd because when you're going to listen to music, again, you'll have to do this. So it's not very intuitive in nature. Also, one more thing I noticed is that the accessories that are bundled with these include that Type A to Type C adapter for charging, of course, and the 3.5mm extension, cable for when you want to listen in wired mode. But there is no airplane adapter with these headphones, which is something that is very essential for any noise cancellation headphones. Now, if you've come this far, we love making these videos for you, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new tech video. Now, talking about the comfort of these headphones. Now, I am somebody who has a big head. Most headphones generally clamp around really tightly around my head, but that's not the case with the WH-1000XM5. The clamping force is not too tight. And apart from that, the cushioning on the earpads and the headband itself is extremely soft. What that meant for me is that I could listen to music for 3 hours at a stretch, probably even extended to 4 hours, and it didn't cause me any fatigue at all. In comparison, something like the AirPods Max weighs down on your head, and this one is much lighter, and so is Bose's headphone as well. By the way, the headband extension that you have doesn't have like a step counter of sort to give you sort of like a ridged mechanism. It's like a smooth sort of extension, which works really well. I have no complaints about it. The controls on the WH-1000XM5 are both physical and swipe gestures in nature. So you do get 2 physical buttons, one for the power on off function, which also doubles up as your Bluetooth pairing mode. And apart from that, you also get another button for noise cancellation or switching on to the ambient sound mode. As for the gestures, they're all placed on the right ear cup. You can swipe up and down for increasing or decreasing the volume, or you can swipe forward or backward for changing the tracks. And the latency tuning for this is done really well. It works exceptionally well every single time. So much so that I think that every single headphone, if they're tuned this way, should come with gesture control. Now, as you can see out here, you have the Headphones Connect app, which is available on both Android and iOS, through which you can change a lot of settings and features on the WH-1000XM5. The problem with this app is that if you're somebody who cares about security and privacy, then this app asks a lot of data and information from you. Anyway, the first thing you see when you open the app is the adaptive sound control, and this is a feature that works intelligently to figure out if you're sitting, if you're standing, and then accordingly tune the active noise cancellation for that particular situation. Now, I was on a flight and it hadn't started moving yet, so it had recognized that I was sitting or staying, and once it started moving, immediately it switched on to the moving mode, which means that the active noise cancellation, the level of active noise cancellation had increased. You can tell because the music pauses for a second, but I think it's a really cool feature to have because you don't have to change it manually. Now, with the XM5, you also get multi-point connectivity. You can connect 2 devices to the XM5 at one time. Now, I did connect my MacBook Air and of course a Pixel 7 Pro at the same time, but one thing you need to notice is that if you're playing music on one device and if you start playing music on the other device, it doesn't automatically switch to the other device. You have to pause the music on the first device for it to sort of play on the other device. Also, if you want to have dual connections active at the same time, you will have to sacrifice the LDAC codec capability of these headphones. Now, I'll talk more about the LDAC codec, when I talk about the sound signature. Also, these headphones are Spotify tab certified, which means that if you double click the ANC button, it will immediately start playing, music from Spotify where you left off. Now, you can see there is an activity page as well, which tells you how often you've used these headphones, and it also has a safe listening option. And it has this gamification feature which makes it fun to use the headphones themselves because it gives you badges, and I kind of like badges. Do you? Alright, so now let's talk about the sound signature. I really want to talk about it because by default, it's not that great. I use it with the LDAC codec on the Pixel 7 Pro. You do not get LDAC codec support on the iPhone, and it defaults to AAC. LDAC is this high resolution codec which will work well with lossless music and will give you better fidelity as well. So if you're using Apple Music, it'll give you great quality sound. By default, the problem with the tuning is that it's dark, it's kind of wailed, and it is very, very boomy. The sub-bass rumble is way too much. Now, if you're planning on buying the WH-1000XM5, just do this one thing. Download the Wavelet app on your Android phone and switch to this EQ, which pulls down a lot of the sub-bass and the mid-bass as well, and increases the treble too. In fact, I feel that they are better than the custom EQing that you can do within the headphones app itself. But if you do custom EQing on the headphones app, it will retain the EQ and it will work across devices. So it will work even with an iOS device. Now, once I EQ'd them, they opened up and sounded so much better. The sound staging, the imaging, all was really, really good. Something that you come to expect from a great pair of Bluetooth, active noise cancellation headphones. If you listen to Sober by Tool, the WH-1000XM5 does a fantastic job of placing all the instruments in the mix, especially the guitars, the percussions, and even the vocals in the right position for you to have that musical sort of engagement with the sound itself. Now, if you want more bass, you can switch to the default tuning, but trust me, use this tuning, you will like it way, way better, and your listening experience will also be far improved. Having said that, even with this EQ, the limitation of these headphones is the treble response. The treble doesn't have the kind of shimmer and quality that I come to expect from a pair of 30,000 rupee headphones. The problem is the sparkle in the treble is missing. So when the cymbal hits happen in Sober by Tool, they don't feel as good as they should. And this is where wired headphones in this price category will of course perform way better, and that's to be understood. For example, you have the awesome Hi-Fi Man Sundara, which is an open back headphone, and apart from that, you have the Sennheiser HD660S as well, and you have the Audio-Technica ATH R70 as well. For Bluetooth headphones, these sound pretty good, no doubt at all. In fact, I think that they do sound better than the 1000XM4 as well. It's a very warm, pleasant kind of sound signature, which is good for long listening sessions on a flight. But if you want, the kind of musical bite and enjoyment that you want from a pair of headphones, that I think is kind of missing on the 1000, XM5. But while the sound is good enough, these headphones excel at active noise cancellation. In fact, they're the best out there. I have heard the AirPods Max extensively on many flights, but the Sony WH-1000XM5 does noise cancellation much better and cuts out the higher frequencies much better, which is more difficult to do. The ambient mode on these headphones have definitely been improved. They don't sound as robotic anymore, but when it comes to transparency mode, Apple still does it way, way better. Having said that, I do like the fact that you can just cup one of the ear cups and it'll immediately, go into ambient sound mode and you can hear your environment better. As for the audio latency when you're playing videos or playing games, it's not too bad by default, and there's no special game mode for it to become better or anything. Now remember this, if you want lower latency performance, then you will have to switch off LDAC. Now the battery life on these headphones are fantastic. They are rated for 30 hours. I actually got more than 30 hours with ANC on. And if you switch off ANC, you can go up to 50 hours as well. So that's really, really good. And apart from that, they've got fast charging as well. 3 minutes of charge apparently gives you 3 hours of listening time. I noticed that my GAN charger, my 65 watt GAN charger could actually charge these at about 10 watts and 15 watts when the battery was as low as about 20%, 30%. But when the battery is about 80-90%, the charging speed goes down, which is fine. Another thing that's fantastic on the XM5 is the mic. My God, the mic quality has improved so much on these. It's really surprising how good it is. I mean, I was using them constantly for video calls and for regular calls as well. It was that good. In fact, why don't you guys do a thing? Take a listen to the sound quality in comparison to something like the Oppo Enco X2, and you will get to know what I'm talking about. I'm recording the sound using the Sony WH-1000 XM5 right now. I'm recording the sound using the Oppo Enco X2 right now, and you can tell that it's not as good as the Sony WH-1000 XM5. These headphones are priced around rupees 30,000 and sometimes they go for lower than 30,000 during the discount season as well. But I think they're completely worth it because of the kind of features and the quality of features that Sony packs in. See, if you want better audio fidelity, you have to pick a pair of wired headphones like the Meze 99 Classics or the Sundara, both of which are available for under rupees 30,000. But then you won't get wireless connectivity, you won't get active noise cancellation, you won't get the kind of mic quality that you get with it, you won't get transparency mode. Yeah, I mean, you lose out on a lot of features. So if you can compromise a little bit on the sound, I think a lot of people will actually end up picking these instead of a wired pair of headphones if they had to pick only one. But if you're someone like me who doesn't care too much about active noise cancellation and cares a lot about the sound quality itself, then IEMs would probably make more sense if you don't want a pair of headphones. For example, something like the Moondrop Blessing 2, which has far better detailed retrieval capabilities compared to the Sony WH-1000 XM5, and they sound far better too. But you get passive, noise isolation with it when you put them in your ears. You know what, for me, the comfort factor alone of these headphones is a big selling point, a huge selling point. Because on long flights, the convenience is unparalleled. So do you like these headphones? Let me know in the comment section below. If you've purchased one of these, do let us know in the comment section below if your experience has been similar, and it'll help somebody else out who's trying to figure out if they should buy these or not. Anyway, that's it from me. Until next time, this is Ashad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.